So we made it 7 full days. Thank you so much. Seriously. I hope you've been watching. I hope you've gotten some value out of these videos these last 7 days. 1 full week we're in now to 365 questions of BeReel365, where honest answers lead to a desired life. Today, I think, is the today's question, I think, is the culmination of really this entire week. And a question that I think is at the core of literally everyone. And that question is, are you really, truly happy? I think it's an interesting way to ask this question of, are we happy? I think at our core as humans, what we want at the base level is to just simply be happy. And what I think is interesting about this question is that it added truly in front of the word happy. Are you truly happy? And for that, I think we almost have to define what happiness is. And my own thoughts on that are that happiness for each person, like the definition of what makes us happy for each individual is a different thing. What makes me happy is not going to be the same as what makes you happy, is not going to be the same as what makes someone else happy. But when you dissect all of that at that base core, happiness really, if we're real about what happiness is, I think true happiness is a mental thing. True happiness is a choice. We either choose to be happy or we don't, or we don't choose to be happy. It's one or the other. And I think that a lot of people think of happiness as like, I feel happy right now, or I'm currently happy in this state. And the way we really see happiness without saying it and defining it is just a moment to moment thing. For instance, I'm very happy eating this McDonald's cheeseburger and fries, but I'm also very unhappy after it's over and I realize I just ate really, really bad food. Like, I'm very unhappy in the middle of a hard workout, but I'm very happy when the workout is done and I've gotten through it, right? So we almost need to redefine what true happiness is. And like I said, I think true happiness is based on something inward and not something outward. We often, as humans, put ourselves into a situation where we look to other things and other people to satisfy our own happiness. And when that's not reciprocated, it causes us to then be unhappy. So we say things like, when I get this job, I'll be happy. Or when I get into this certain relationship with this particular person I want to be with, then I'll be happy. When I'm able to take a vacation, I'll be happy. When I get X amount of money in the bank, then I'll be happy. When I get to this age, then I'll be happy, right? And so we put our happiness we base our happiness on an external state, like things that are happening to us, experiences, when really those things are fleeting. Those sorts of things, these experiences and external states of happiness, I refer to them as waves coming into the beach. Sometimes the waves are calm as they come in, and sometimes they crash in. And we tend to focus a lot of times on the crashing wave and have that one wave define how we feel about ourselves and our life. which in turn creates unhappiness for us because we're so focused on that one thing, that one piece of external stimuli, and defining moment for our own lives. And because we're so focused on the external, on the one thing, we latch onto it, and it is the cause of our discontent and our unhappiness. So we have to start to look inside ourselves, inside our own mind, to try to be real with ourselves in what truly makes us happy or not happy. There was a lot of things going back to just doing my best to be self-aware about things. My business, my media company that I had started a few years ago, the last year or so, I was just extremely unhappy. And so that's part of the reason why last year I decided to sell my half of the business. And I cannot tell you, once that was done, how happy that made me feel. With that said, being real and honest here, that still didn't make me happy in the long run. So I once again was putting my happiness into something external. So I was putting my happiness into this business, thinking that getting out of that business would make me happy, which in turn it did, but it didn't, because now I'm thinking, gosh, okay, now I'm having to achieve something else, and so once again I'm putting my own happiness into external achievement rating system almost. And once I reach, okay, if I get rid of this business, then I'll start my own thing, and then I'll be happy, right? And then that changed, and so it made me unhappy, and so you're in this terrible cycle of latching on to things that you think are going to make you happy, and when they don't come to fruition, then that causes unhappiness. And something that I've started to realize more and more recently is that happiness really is internal to me. Yeah, if you in the instance of the business, and you can think about this for your own self too. If we were to start with leaving this business and starting my own thing would make me happy. In order to get to the definition, the true definition of the true happiness part of that equation, you then have to ask yourself, what is it about leaving that business and starting your own thing that will make you happy? And at its very core, something that I figured out just recently is that my own personal definition for that is I just want to do something that I love. That is what makes me happy, is to know that I get the opportunity to do something every single day that I love and make a living at it. That is what's been defining my business as of late. Even to the point where I've also figured out something I love is I'm very attached to my own story. I think my own story defines very much of who I am today. And I've realized by telling other people's personal stories through video that that's something that I truly love. That makes me happy. Internally, my happiness comes from knowing that I once again get to do something that I love. And even though I'm not where I want to be in life right now, I can't let that get me unhappy. And this is like me talking to me, and hopefully you can get something out of it, but it's me saying to myself, think about where you are now, realize that it's all part of the process, and realize that you can be happy in the situation now, even though it's not exactly what you want it to be. Because I know that I'm working towards where I want to be in life and things that I want to achieve for myself, and I have goals that I've set for myself personally, and that makes me, I'm happy internally to know that I'm on a path to achieve the external parts, but first and foremost, I am happy internally. I hope that makes sense to you all. Uh, I would I would ask of you all, and I ask this of myself all the time too, is there something you have to, how do we get to true happiness, right? For me, and I think it could be the same for you, is you have to be real with yourself and really think about, what is it in my life that is making me unhappy? Am I in a relationship that I'm unhappy in? Am I in a job that I'm unhappy in? Am I surrounding myself with people who only are drama filled and therefore make me unhappy? And then once you've defined that, then try to take the steps to relieve yourself of those things that make you unhappy. For me, it was the business. You know, it's been a few things for me, and so I've done what I can, even though it was extremely hard. I've done what I can to separate myself from the things that make me unhappy. Now we need to be realistic, right? So we can't just say, because I'm going to be honest here. I used to think that if I got to a point where things are making me unhappy, then I would just leave instead of trying to think of the deep meaning, why is this making me unhappy? Maybe it's something that I'm doing that I need to change. I just didn't want to deal with it, so I just let it go. It just didn't deal with it, and so, which caused more unhappiness, which is weird to think about now. But and so really self-examine and see, is this something that I can fix and stay in the situation? It's just something about the situation that I just need to fix, or is it just truly making me unhappy? And if it is, then get out. Don't stay in a don't stay in a situation that makes you unhappy. There's no reason for you to do that. I mean, you might try to justify oh, I'm staying for this reason or that reason, but really at its ultimate core, you need to be selfish. You need to think about you. At the end of the day, you are what's most important. And it is only then that you will find true happiness, when you realize that you are in charge of it. I hope you internalize that. It's something that I constantly think about every single day, that I have to remind myself of every single day. That happiness is here, and in here, and not out here. Thank you for making it a week with us, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.